All right, folks. 2008 Chevy Impala 3.5 3500 V6. We are going to do the power steering lines. There are two, actually three, but two are the ones that are rotted. AutoZone sells them. This is the pressure line, 92-271. All right, it's pretty long, loops around, goes to the pump itself. This is the return line, 92-781. This one is the one that's not a police package, so it's a regular Impala. And this is what it looks like. This is the runs across the front frame. This is technically a cooler. It runs along here, cools it off before it goes back in. All right, but both of them can go to the rack, and both of them go towards the power steering pump. Whereas this one here, it's got a little rubber hose. Then there's another pipe goes up around the alternator, and then with another hose to the power steering. That pipe around the alternator is fine. We're gonna leave it alone. This is basically just the bottom because they're rotted right where it goes to the rack. All right, now to get to this point right where we are here, two 10mm bolts in this corner takes out the overflow jar, hanging off over to the side. I also took that cover off. That's easy, just take that oil spout off, snap it off. Then we go and you take the belt off. All right, you guys know how to take the belt off. You use a little tool with a little square. There's your tensioner right there. Okay, and there's a little hole there for the square. All right, hopefully you guys do know how to take a belt off, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But here is that little pipe that I was telling you about. Okay, goes up around here. Here it is here, it attaches to the pump. All right, we're not changing that one because it's good, but you never know. I mean, we'll get to it and we'll see how bad it is. Otherwise, it's like another $25. Okay, now to the power steering pump, after you take the belt off, there's three bolts, 13mm bolts right there. You go right through the pulley over here to get to them. All right, you could turn the pulley over so you can line them up, and you take the three bolts off. Don't forget, before you do anything, always disconnect the battery cable. All right, disconnect the battery cable. There's a positive cable that runs across, right across here. There's little Christmas tree clips on them. Just pull them up and tie them up out of the way. All right, so the belt is out of the way, the reservoir is out of the way, the cable's out of the way. So now we're gonna lift this up just a little bit, but you can't get to it to get this power steering pressure line. So what I did was, since we have to change these hoses anyway, what I did was I pinched it closed, sliced the hose open so it comes off this pipe nice and easy, and we're gonna lift this up out of the way to access this pressure hose fitting, which is down on the bottom of this new pump. All right. All right. So the good thing about slicing a hose, instead of you killing yourself, slice it open. It's got to be changed anyway. What I did was I gave this a little nice twist, and it's going to leak, of course. All right. You pull the pipe, which is right here. It's just about off. I'm going to put you down to try to save that hose from getting oil all over the place. All right, once the hose is off, you're going to notice that it's going to drip until everything that's in this pipe is gone. Then it's going to stop, okay? Because it's not under pressure, it's not going to come out anymore. All right, I'm going to try to lift this up out of the way and try to get that other fitting. All right, so we're going to pull this unit out. I'm going to wiggle it out of that little bracket there. It should come out in your hand. All right, so here it is right here. It's in front of us. Now I'm going to take that fitting off and move the pump off to the side. Got the little basin over there, so all this oil is going to come flying out of here. Okay, there you go. It's going to make a big mess, so maybe I'll try to. All right, so it's actually a 16. All right, crack that 16 open. Let's get this little bugger out and move the pump up and out of the way. Lunch. Let's spin this out and we'll throw this in the tub here. All right, so wiggle the pump out of the way. There's the line here. punch it up with some rags here. Okay. The pump is out. Safe in a can. Alright, I'm going to work on the line. Okay, this is the line that goes all the way down towards the frame. I'm going to have to pull this wheel off to get to it. Alright, so down over here there's a bracket. Okay, it's a little 8mm bolt. Right, you want to take that off. Then this hose is going to be free all the way down there. Alright, I'm going to start to pull the wheel off and we'll get what's down on the bottom. Okay, probably tie something around here, otherwise the oil is going to be coming out of here. Alright, so once you pull the wheel off, down here you're going to find a bunch of little clips. Just lift these up out of the way. This one here has another clip that holds this harness. Take that out of the way. Just take a little screwdriver and lift these up. Alright, let's see if I can lift it up and show you. Right in there, little plastic clips in there that hold. Let me see if I can show it on the bottom. Right there. Alright, those just snap up out of the way. Same one with this side. Alright, snap out of the way. This will be the front side. Right, now let's see how we're going to get it off on this side. Alright, those are the hoses right there. Alright. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to slice that hose there and pull it out. It's going to make a mess. Alright, that's one rubber hose off. I put all these rags here so we don't get dirty. No sense getting more dirty than we have to. Now I'm going to figure out how to get the ones that go to the rack. Alright, my phone died, so I didn't film the rest of taking the hoses out. Plus it was 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night by the time I'm done. But what you do is, since you're removing it, I just cut them into a bunch of little pieces. Okay? And I got them all out. Putting it in is a totally different story. Alright, putting them in. I took this, the pressure one is in already. Alright, same thing. Through here, wiggle it up over the rack, and shove it straight across over there. This one here is going to take a little finagling. Alright, I stuck the long piece in there first, bent this over here. This has to go under the CV joint, through here, okay, away from the sway bar, and then up and over. Okay, I tried it this way the first time. You can shove it this way also if you want. Stick it all the way in that corner and then wrap it around. But it's a bunch of little finagling. Alright, it's got all the little shapes. This goes over the rack and pinion, so you got to wiggle that all out. It's fun. And to get to those rack bolts, you have to go from here. So yeah, you can see it right there. One of the lines are on already with the fitting. So over here, I took the air box out, air hose out, wire tied the heater hoses out of the way, disconnected the plug. Okay, that's here. Disconnected this hose here, and I disconnected the bolt here for this heater pipe, just so you can get your arm in here. Okay, about maybe 3 inches too short to reach in there, but you force it, get a lot of black and blues from hitting over here. But that's where you're gonna have to get the nut. All right, and to get in there, can't use a flare nut wrench. It's impossible. So what I did was, you need one of these suckers. All right, use a crowfoot, a little tiny extension, grab it on the nut and just crack it open. Once you crack it open, then you can get in there with a little short millimeter wrench. I believe this is a 16. Let's see what this says. It is a 16. All right, it's a 16 crow, 16 line. That's the only way to get it. It's right through here. You got to go through there. Can't go through the driver's side because there's nothing here. Okay, you can see it. Okay, but you can't get to it. And from the bottom, you can't get to it. It's impossible. So it has to be from the front. All right, so now we're just gonna finagle a little sucker in there. I had it in there last night, but then the fitting was messed up on the one that I bought. So there's another one that I bought. The package was also opened for whatever reason, but the fitting seems to be okay. So I'm gonna finagle this little bugger on there. All right, but yeah, you definitely need some kind of lift. It's gonna be hard to do this on the floor. All right, let's see. All right, with a bunch of finagling, and they get it in there, up over the sway bar, through here, up over here, push the pressure hose up, and there it is. Right, now it's laying down there. That one's gonna connect to the pipe up there. This goes right across. These two run across in the back by the K-frame. Here it is here. Okay, that's the bottom one, that's the top one. And the fitting's gonna go right to that rack over there. Okay, what I did this time was I put duct tape on the fitting, so in case it doesn't get scratched up while it's going in. All right, a little tight, like I said. You got the O2 sensor wires here, and a bunch of stuff in here. But basically, all right, this gets tied up with a little bracket up away from the rack and pinion. That stays away from there because there's a clip. Then there's a little L hose that connects there. All right, and this one goes right across to the K-frame. All right, once that straightens out, that'll be even with the K-frame. Okay, this will just go in here. All right, onto those clips. And there's that. Now we're gonna try to finagle the fitting up on the rack. All right, so the lines are in. Okay, wire tied them, put them to whatever clips that didn't break is still there. All right, this hose, a little right angle hose with two nice worm clamps. Move the hoses away from the turning mechanism, the rack and pinion. Okay, that is that. Put the belt back on. I'm about to transfer the clamp right there. Put it back on that bracket over there. And put these wires back where they belong. Change the hose, okay? And like I said, to get to those fittings back there, is through the top. I actually was able to grab some from the bottom too. All right, so yeah, that's pretty rough in there, man. Pretty rough. Hang on, let's get a flashlight there for you. There it is. Two fittings right there. All right, top and bottom. Very rough, man. Big pain in the butt. All this stuff here is gonna hit your arms and your elbows. Definitely gonna have a black and blue. You know what helped me too? I took the box out altogether. You know, the air cleaner box. I took this brace off. I was able to go deep and that way instead of going up and over and hurting the fat belly part of it. All right, so the line is in. Now I'm just gonna start putting everything back together. All right, just hooking up all my lines, double check all my work, putting my little coolant back together, air cleaner back together, fill it up. I'm gonna check it for leaks. All right, I wanna continue putting these back together. All right, so here's the final look what this line looks like. Okay, both of them clipped on over there. It's gonna come around. Ouch. That's a little right angle return filter going to that line that goes around the alternator. Okay, that one there is the pressure line attached to the front crank there with a bracket. There is the cooler line or the return line, runs across the frame. Okay, then comes back. It's all tied up, out of the way. And in fact, I'm gonna move that hose away from there so it doesn't hit. All right, hang on. All right, so we tweaked it over there. That is now good. I'm gonna go check up on top. All right, here's the top. All right, all done. Belts on, coolants, topping off the fluid right now. Alternate the cable. Clean the battery terminal to start it up. Air cleaner is back together. Hoses are tied where they're untied, so it's free. And that's it. Alrighty. There's your changing of the line. It's a pain in the butt. And I definitely don't recommend it without some kind of a lift, because you're not going to be able to crawl under there. Alright, that's it. Ciao. Alright, so I'm going to mark this up for you guys. This is the one I changed the power steering line pressure and a power steering line return that goes all the way under from the K-frame all the way to the rack and pinion. Alright, when you bleed it, you put your fluid in there. Keep the cap off, okay, because it's going to create a lot of air. It's going to blow the cap off. Keep it open, put it off to the side, okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to spin the wheel from one side to the other. It's going to make a lot of noise. You're going to think that you failed and you didn't do the job, but you did. As long as you got the air out, you're fine. Go from left to right, left to right, and when you look in there, you're going to see there's a lot of bubbles in there. You got to let that bubble settle. So let the car idle, let the bubbles disappear, and then do it again. Right? Cock it all the way to the left, cock it over to the right. Sometimes you can hold it to the left, hold it there for a little bit, or it'll be screaming. Hold it to the right, let it scream. You're going to notice that there's a lot of air bubbles, that the bubbles disappear. And then do it again. Let it idle, let it run. It might take you a good hour, but you got to have patience. All right? Patience is the deal here. Now, I'm going to go and spin the wheels now, and you're going to notice that the sound is gone. You heard a little there? There's still a little bit of air left, so we have to take it for a road test. But right now, it's nighttime. It's getting dark. I'm done. All right? See ya. Ciao.